Hello there. Welcome to the second video of Google Ads Manager course. In this course, we will take you from basics to an advanced level in Google Ads Manager. Now, if you are new to this video, I would suggest to watch the whole series from video 1, for which we have arranged all the videos as a playlist and for which I will put the link in the description below. Now, in this video, we are specifically going to talk about two versions of Google Ad Manager because it comes in two variants. Now, a lot of people suggest during the boot camps and the trainings to take students through this particular topic at the end of the course, but for me it doesn't make sense because you should get familiar with what are the two options available in Google Ads Manager and what is the difference between them. Some of the things which we will discuss in this video, you might have to theoretically remember them because we will be discussing those topics in detail later in the course. But it's good to go through the differences between the two versions and what they provide. Now, before we jump into the actual differences between the two versions and you understand what they all are, I would like to say a big thank you to the sponsor of this particular video, which is App My Site. Using App My Site, you can easily create an app in few minutes and you don't need to know website coding or app development or spend huge amounts on app development teams. I will also put a link in the description below to a video on YouTube where they will show you in 18 minutes how to convert your WordPress site into a full-fledged app. So let's jump into our video. Now, Google Ad Manager comes in two variants. If you see the logos, one is called Google Ad Manager and the paid version is called Google Ad Manager 360, like the new naming conventions like Google Analytics, Google Analytics 360. So before changing the names, they were called DFP Small Business was for Google Ad Manager and DFP or double click for publishers was what is now Google Ad Manager 360. So this is just to give you an idea so that you might have heard the old terminology before and you might get confused. So we will discuss all the different features available in these two versions in 7 different sections. Our first section is integrations and reporting. What all integrations and reporting is possible in both the versions. The first one is data transfer, which is available in Google Ads Manager 360 and not available in Google Ads Manager. Now, what data transfer is actually what happens is any publisher who uses Google Ad Manager 360, what they can do is they can opt for a service called data transfer, where all the event level data will be transferred into a Google Cloud account, where they can fetch this data, download and do data warehousing on their end. Now, what happens is, for example, let's talk about bbc.com. They are a publisher who serve like millions and millions of impressions every day. And a publisher like that might want to generate all this data, event level data, and store it in their warehouses for years and years, because Google Ad Manager 360 in certain cases provides reporting for only 18 months or in certain cases 36 months, and after which Google will delete this reporting data. But BBC and publishers like them, big publishers, they would like to download this data and store it as in their data warehouses. Now, the benefit is they later want to apply data science and do a lot of analysis on this data to understand how they can optimize or generate any kind of high-level reporting. Now, you have to also remember that this data transfer does not just transfer data about impressions, clicks, CTRs, and all the metrics that we see in reports in Google Ads Manager. They have a lot more data, like the exact time stamps up to seconds and microseconds, and a lot more details. So this might be helpful for publishers like them. So if a publisher wants a feature like this, they have to opt for Google Ad Manager 360, which is not available in Google Ad Manager. The second integration is Google Analytics. Now, Google Ad Manager cannot be integrated with Google Analytics, but Google Ad Manager 360 can be integrated, but they need to have Google Analytics 360 as well. That's a limitation. Now, if a publisher does not have Google Analytics 360, they cannot integrate even if they use Google Ad Manager 360. The third one is Data Studio. Now, like Google Analytics, Google Ad Manager cannot be integrated with Google Data Studio, but Google Ads Manager 360 can be integrated. Now, the benefit of integrating Google Ad Manager 360 with Data Studio is because these companies, what they do is they can generate real-time reports and very extensive reports. In terms of some metrics you can visualize in Data Studio cannot be reported on in Google Ad Manager UI. So some companies want to see a real-time data and visualize. So in that case as well, only Google Ad Manager 360 can be integrated with Data Studio. The last point in this section is conversion reporting. You cannot generate reports in terms of measuring conversions on website. For example, if I am bbc.com, now I cannot report on conversions that happened on my particular website, people who saw an ad on my website, clicked on the ad and later did a conversion on advertiser's page. That can be only reported in Google Ad Manager 360. Now these are very important points. Some of them you might not be able to understand what they mean because we still have the course pending, but you have to remember in those cases, remember this all theoretically because it will be later helpful for you. Now moving on to our second section, which is pricing and terms. Now this is very important. Guys, you have to understand one thing. This video about differences and two variants of Google Ad Manager, some of them are not even clear with the Google support team who work for Google Ad Manager, and trust me on this. So this is very extensive. So you have to remember and understand this because it will be a lot useful for you if you have to work on these platforms later. Now, in terms of pricing and terms, if we talk about price, in the first video we discussed that Google Ad Manager is free up to 90 million impressions, and it depends upon country to country. In some countries, up to 150 million impressions is free, and in some countries, up to 200 million display impressions is free. And throughout the world, 800k impressions for video ads is free on Google Ads Manager. Now, once a publisher crosses these limits, let's say in your country the display ad impression limit is 90 million. Once you cross this limit in a month, Google will send you a notification that you have crossed the free limit. You will have to upgrade to Google Ad Manager 360. So that's how it works. And after you migrate to Google Ads Manager 360, let's say you have now 100 million impressions in a month. The first 90 million impressions will still be free, and you will be charged for only the extra 10 million impressions every month, and it will be a fixed CPM rate, which again depends on a lot of factors, like let's say in terms of tiers. So for example, if you're a very big publisher, you have a lot of impressions, you will fall in probably in a slab where the CPM rates are low. So the higher the impressions you have monthly, the CPM rates will be accordingly adjusted in your contract, and they differ for each publisher. Now, in terms of maximum impressions per month, we discussed that it's 990 to 200 million, depending on the country, for GAM. And in terms of Google Ads Manager 360, you can serve unlimited impressions. And in terms of contract, now for Google Ad Manager, because the next video is about how to create an account. Now, anyone who has a valid Google AdSense account can opt for a Google Ad Manager account. They can create an account. But in terms of Google Ad Manager 360, there is a contract, an official contract between Google sales team and Google team and the publisher. Now, as I told you, one way is to, once you cross the limits, Google will send you a notification. They will one of the sales team, one of the members of the sales team will reach out to you. There will be an official contract which you will sign, where you will discuss and negotiate about the CPM rates and a lot of features, and they will probably give you an account manager in most of the cases. And if you are a very big publisher, they will assign someone called technical account manager or a TAM to your account as well, who will be your dedicated support in terms of Google. Now, the third option we are going to discuss is monetization. Now, in terms of monetization, if you're using Google Ads Manager, you can use AdSense backfill, which means you can integrate your AdSense account and you can still show ads on your website from AdSense through Google Account Manager. It integrates seamlessly, which happens in Google Ads Manager 360 as well. And in terms of PG deals, programmatic guaranteed deals, that is one limitation in Google Ad Manager account. If you have direct deals. Someone wants to set up a programmatic deal on their DSP with your Google Ads Manager. You cannot do that. For that, you need to have a Google Ad Manager 360. Now, so PG deals are not available in Google Ads Manager. Then we are talking about open bidding, which is also not available in Google Ad Manager, but it's available in Google Ad Manager 360. Now, open bidding is like Google's answer to header bidding, which was very popular in last few years, probably a decade or less. But open bidding is Google's answer to that, where it is not as slow. It does not have latency like header bidding, and header bidding involved a lot of coding and tagging on the pages, but you can do with normal tags, which you have already on your pages. You can use open bidding, which is a Google solution, where basically what Google Ad Manager will do is it will make server to server calls to other networks. If you want to work with, let's say, not just AdSense, you want to work with Facebook network or any other network. So you can integrate seamlessly with open bidding, where you will basically check for every impression if AdSense is giving you better rates, or probably Facebook or any other ad network is giving you better rates. So they will win, which is not possible in Google Ad Manager and possible in Google Ad Manager 360. So I hope, guys, you are following. As I told you before, even if you are not sure about any concepts, we will discuss all of them, but you need to realize all the features and differences between these two. Once you're familiar, when we discuss all of these things in detail, it will be super clear. And trust me, I have given a lot of thought on how to design and how to structure this particular course. Which leads us to our next point, which is inventory management. Now, the first feature is ad unit levels. We will discuss in detail what ad unit level is, but for now you have to remember that in Google Ad Manager, there are 2 levels of ad units you can create, but in case of Google Ad Manager 360, there are 5 levels you can create, which is very helpful for big publishers. We'll discuss that in detail, how they work and how they can be used. Then there are special ad units, which are not possible in Google Ad Manager, but they are possible in Google Ad Manager 360. A special ad unit is basically, so what happens in Google Ad Manager is, if I have a Google Ad Manager account, I place tags on my website everywhere. And if I enable, let's say, AdSense backfill throughout the account, so everywhere this particular AdSense account will fill ads, it will show ads on all websites. Now, even if I target one particular campaign, let's say I have a direct deal with Samsung, I create a campaign, I target one ad unit, and if there are any child ad units, it will appear there as well. Or if I have some house line items or any campaigns which I'm targeting to all of my website, so it will appear on all ad units. But in certain cases, let's say bbc.com homepage, they have a homepage top banner, which is like a premium inventory, and they don't want all the campaigns which are trafficked in their Google Ad Manager account to serve there. They have special campaigns, let's say high premium rate campaigns, which they have sold. They only want to target on this particular ad unit. So Google Ad Manager gives a feature called special ad unit, which will not show any ads except where you have targeted a campaign explicitly to this ad unit, which gives a better control. This feature, we will discuss a lot more detail about this later, but this feature is not available in Google Ad Manager, but available in 360 version. It's called special ad units. The next level is suggested ad units. Now, big publishers, when they have websites, because there is website development teams who do all the tagging, sometimes there are maybe typos or they don't want to do so. For example, you create a Google Ad Manager account, you create the tags and place on the website. Now, on the other hand, what some publishers do is, when they start using Google Ad Manager, they start tagging their pages first with their own names in the ad units and the tags, and later in Google Ad Manager there is a feature called suggested ad units, which will populate all the ad units, all the names of the ad units you have placed on the website, and you can do the reverse. Place the tags, name them, and then create the ad units based on how you place them. So this feature is called suggested ad units as well. We will discuss a lot more about this, which is not available in Google Ad Manager, but available in 360 version. Now, you just have to be familiar with all these names. It will be very easy later for you to understand them in detail. Ideally, in this video, I should just tell you this feature is available and not, but I'm also trying to give you a little bit of hint what it means. Then there is Google Ad Manager video. Video is available in both 360 version and Google Ad Manager, but then in Google Ad Manager only basic video functions are available, and in 360 there are advanced functions available. For example, podding, dynamic ad insertion, and a lot more functions are available in 360 but not in Google Ad Manager. Ideally, I mean, if your website is video heavy, then it's always suggested to have a Google Ad Manager 360 account. Then we go to the fifth feature, which is admin features. Now, in this case, there are certain features which are like admin features, which are good to how you manage your account. So some of these features are not available in Google Ad Manager. The first one is Teams. Now, in Google Ad Manager, for example, BBC as a company, I'm giving a lot of examples of BBC. So let's say BBC as a company, they have bbc.uk, bbc.in. Ideally, they will have different ad ops teams and different sales teams, because bbc.in will have advertisers from India generally. So what they do is, in their Google Ad Manager account, they kind of arrange people in teams. They have access. For example, they'll create a team called bbc.in or BBC India team. That team will only have access to ad units on bbc.in, and they will only have access to advertisers who are willing to show ads on bbc.in version. So generally, how this is managed within big companies is creating teams and giving access to their associated inventory, websites, and the advertisers. So this feature is not available in Google Ad Manager, but available in Google Ad Manager 360. The second feature is Future Sell-Through Report. This kind of report gives a publisher idea about how many impressions they should expect in the next 90 days. It ideally gives a report daily based on the previous trends and a lot of considerations. So Google Ad Manager kind of predicts that how many impressions you have available for the next 90 days, day by day, so that you don't oversell or you don't undersell. So this is called Future Sell-Through Report, which is available in 360 version and not Google Ads Manager. Then we have Google Support. This is very important. Now, Google Ad Manager, even if you create an account, you will not have access to Google Ad Manager support team. Now, if you face any kind of issue, you will have to rely on help center articles or forums, Google Ad Manager forums. You cannot reach out to Google Ad Manager support. But in case of if you have 360 version, then you have access. You can live chat as well as send an email to the Google support team, who are based in 8 different locations across the world. And then we have multi-currency support. Google Ad Manager only supports one type of currency, and whatever currency you choose at the account creation, you cannot change that later. But in case of Google Ad Manager 360, it supports multiple currencies. As I told you, as an example for BBC, they can have invoices, they can have reports in rupees for bbc.in version and advertisers, and they can do it in pounds for people or advertisers in UK. So that's not also available in Google Ad Manager. The sixth point we are going to discuss about is trafficking. Now, in terms of trafficking, like some advanced features like rendering macros, creative wrappers, advanced targeting using expressions is not available in Google Ad Manager, but it is available in Google Ad Manager 360. Now, if you are wondering what they mean, rendering macros, creative wrappers, these are kind of codes. Creative wrappers are codes which we apply to our creatives to have any kind of effect in the creatives or anything with creatives. Similarly, advanced targeting using expressions is you can create different kind of expressions. You can use wildcards for targeting different kind of keywords, targeting ad units, and a lot of things. And then we have video host limit. Now, in Google Ad Manager, if you have a video creative, one option is you host it, you upload it in your Google Ad Manager account and run it in a campaign. The other option is you store it on, let's say, in an ad server and use the tags. Now, in terms of hosting it, uploading it in your Google Ad Manager account, the limit for Google Ad Manager is you can upload only up to 30 MB of video creative. But in Google Ad Manager, you can upload a video up to 512 MB. I'm talking about each video, not the overall videos. Then in terms of trafficking, in Google Ad Manager 360, you cannot run CPA, VCPM based campaigns, like you cannot target cost per acquisition targeted campaigns, but in Google Ad Manager 360, you can do that. And also in terms of in-banner video format, it's like an ad format which looks like a banner and there is a video which appears within that banner. So you can run that in Google Ad Manager 360, but not in Google Ads Manager account. Then the seventh one we have is audience. Now, usually you cannot use any kind of audience features in Google Ads Manager. For example, first party. Now, in Google Ad Manager 360, what you can do is, let's say I am a magazine website. I have one page or one section of my website which talks about sports. Now, what you can do is you can create first party audience segments in your Google Ad Manager account. Say all the people who visit with a certain frequency, let's say 3 times a week, to any sports page, they should be put in an audience segment called sports enthusiasts. And you can create different kind of rules and different audience segments. And then you can go to advertisers and tell them, see, I have this audience segment created. Your campaign will be targeted only to this audience, which will be targeted. And you generally, publishers charge higher for these kind of campaigns. But you cannot do that. It's called first party because it's publishers' data. They have collected it on their website. So you can use this feature in 360 version, but not in Google Ad Manager. Similarly, you cannot integrate a DMP like BlueKai with Google Ad Manager, but you can do that in terms of Google Ad Manager 360. And then when it comes to third-party data, for example, in Google Ad Manager 360, you can reach out to BlueKai, Lotome, any data provider, and tell them I want this kind of segment. They'll push it in your account and you can target any campaigns to this particular account, which obviously will be advertisers' demand, or you negotiated with them that this kind of audience will be targeted for your campaign on my particular website. You cannot do that in Google Ad Manager, but you can do that in Google Ad Manager 360 version. And it includes both local and global license, because when these data providers push audience segments to your Google Ad Manager account, they generally have 2 types of license, global and local, which we will explain later. But for now, it's more than enough to remember. So that's all the differences between the 2 variants of Google Ad Manager. I hope you will remember most of them, because this will be really helpful in the next few videos. So in the next videos, I'm just giving you a hint that what is coming in the next videos. Now, the next video will be about why would somebody upgrade from AdSense to Google Ad Manager, a basic idea. Then we will have a video about how to create a Google Ad Manager account. Then we will have a video about UI walkthrough. I'll make you familiar with the UI, what are different sections of the UI. And then we will have a lot more videos about step-by-step campaign optimization, monetization, troubleshooting, and optimization. Now, I hope this video was helpful to you in any way. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next one.